talking.
No,
I
think
think
it's.
it back home or something like that.
Imagine.
I think it's probably at the pub's discretion, but I would imagine that it's not free if you were just like, oh, I'm just really not having a great. I'm just, you know what, I'm not feeling
Well,
it.
I know, but I could be like, could you take me my date? I'm just saying. I'm
asking for Angela. Because
I grew up with a very cheap dad. Okay, I love me a bargain.
Oh, well, yeah.
All right, question for the ladies.
Okay.
What's a red flag for you that you see in the guy? First two questions. First
A
guy.
red flag. Tries to show me his mixtape.
Mixtapes. What? Do people even have this?
I used to do rap reactions, so people used to.
Oh really?
No, I'm serious.
I feel like some rapper you've done that with is watching this like.
Some rap.
Mixtapes.
No, have I?
In it.
No. What's a real red flag? I would say like if they're talking about their past relationships and like everything is the girl's fault or like the girl's crazy, I'm like, okay, so either you like crazy women.
Oh, really?
What up, guys? Welcome to the Just Pearly Things YouTube channel. Today, I have a special guest on the channel, a fan favorite. Auntie Jenny. Everyone loved you. Everyone wants to know like your life story.
I just say it as I see it. I say it as I see it. What can I do? The only thing I was hoping is that I can stop them from making the same mistakes that I made.
That's a good attitude because I think a lot of older women like will sabotage us and tell us the wrong stuff.
They do.
Like, I don't know why. What do you think that is?
I just think it's jealousy that they know what they've lost, and rather than say what they were going to help these young people, they're actually jealous of them because the young modern girls are where they want to be.
Well, guys, before we start, don't forget to like the video because that's the most important metric in the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell. Also, sign up for our memberships. There's 2 tiers. In the first tier, you get chat privileges. On the second tier, you actually get bonus videos, so you see vlogs. We also have a Discord. But today, we are watching Kevin Samuels' most viral video that made him famous.
Wow.
It's called Your Average at Best. Do you know who Kevin Samuels is?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
What kind of dog is it?
Corso.
He's a what?
A cane corso.
What is that in English?
It's a larger dog, and their breed is meant for guarding and protecting. They're very protective of their home and their family.
Okay, so what's your disagreement?
Honestly, I don't have a disagreement. I just came here because I honestly want some advice from you.
It says disagreement day.
Oh, I know, but this is my first time catching you on live. Normally I'm asleep. And
You have a job?
I do. I own a business,
Okay, so I do too.
and I do have a question. You
But
know,
I have a business, and if you wanted my advice, you could always book a session if you can't catch us at the show live.
I'm definitely. I was trying to go online earlier.
But all you have to do, man. But see, what kind of business do you own?
I own a pet grooming, doggy daycare, and indoor
Okay,
dog
so
viral, and they're all saying like how mean he was to her later. You'll see, but they don't ever like talk about that she called another day. She was
I
even
wouldn't
supposed
have
to.
spoken to her. I'd be like, sorry, one day, bye, and hang up.
what you're basically trying to do is, I have a disagreement day, and you basically came in and said, "Damn your topic. I want to ask you what I want to ask you." And
Okay.
but you are more than welcome to go on my website and purchase your time to talk with me one-on-one. Because what you're trying to do is rather rude. But I will go ahead and do it because I'm going to use this as a teaching lesson. How old are you?
Okay,
How old are you?
I'm 35.
35 years old. 35 years old and you're a business owner.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. And what's your question?
So my issue is, well, I want to know at what point when I'm just meeting a guy, do I tell him that I'm a business owner? Because my problem is that when I try to date down and the conversation comes up to where I own a business, the guy is either like, hey, can I come join in on you on that business? Or can I put some money and be a business partner? And I'm not looking for that. And I honestly,
Hold on. I need to be clear on this subject. Where are you at?
North Carolina.
How does she be? Oh, we even mention it. I mean, hello, my name is Auntie Jenny. I own a business.
Like most
You
people
know,
say, okay,
I mean,
cool.
I don't know anyone.
I need a high value man because that's what
Well, first off, ma'am, I really don't understand. What kind of man are you talking about? Because owning a business is no different than having a job, in my opinion. And I'm not getting what you're saying. When should you? I'm not understanding why this is an issue. If you're, what kind of men are you? What kind of men are you dating?
I try to give guys that not
You,
a
you
chance.
try to do what?
I try to give guys that's not on my level a chance.
Why? What do you mean on your level? What does that mean?
That's making 6 figures or more.
But I don't okay. You try to give guys who are not on your level a chance. Why?
And because I honestly want a 6-figure guy. Is what I'm realizing.
Okay, so let me just go ahead and net it out for you. You ready?
Uh-huh.
The guys you want aren't asking you out.
Well, I haven't been putting myself out there honestly.
But you put yourself out there enough for the guys you don't want or beneath you to ask you out.
Those are like guys I met online.
Right. So, again, the men you want are not asking you out. See, you ladies do this. You go and deal with men who you feel are beneath you, and then you ask how to fix them. I'm not beneath you. I don't know how to fix a guy that's down there. That's not my concern. The better question is, why can't you get a guy on your level? That's the
why
real
I need your
question.
advice.
Well, the
I
first
need your
thing,
advice.
well, first of all, I would tell you, what I said in here automatically is a problem. Why you would come onto a show that you know was a disagreement there? It's selfish. It's like, well, yes, man. It's like I want what I want.
Well,
I don't say things for no reason. That's why I asked you questions. You're 35 years old, a business owner. That means you understand what business is, and you know this is a business. And I have a show title, and you said, "Damn your show title, I want to talk to you." But you could have went to my business and booked time to talk to me. But you wanted what you wanted, how you wanted.
I'm sorry.
No, and I'm using this as a lesson. That's the problem with too many of you black women. You don't do shit the right way with black men. That was improper. And when I told you the right way, you still were like, well, whatever. So I'm gonna use this. When was the last time you had a relationship?
Like the end of last year around December.
How long did it last?
A year.
A year. And was that man? Did you go to college?
Did I go to college?
Yes.
No, sir.
Okay. And how long have you owned your own business?
9 years.
And how long have you been making six figures or more?
The last 3.
Okay. Why do you need a man making six figures?
Because I'm finding out that the guys that I date, it's not working out.
What does that have to do with money?
Because I feel like I need a guy that I can respect and admire, and I'm ambition, and I want a guy that has that drive too. And when he doesn't, I find myself, encouraging like, hey, babe, you can do this and you can do that. And then,
all right. So in North Carolina, what percentage of the population, what percentage of men in this country make six figures or more?
I think it's like 5%. I'm not.
Closer to 10. So, 10%. All right. So the question is, what do those men who make that kind of money, who all women tend to want, what do they want?
I feel like they want arm candy, somebody who can have more to bring to the table than just looks, but also bring balance to their life. I feel like I can help them out on.
Okay, slow down.
What do you think those guys want?
Her money.
What?
Her money. Her body and her money.
No,
That's what she's advertising.
I'm saying the guys that she wants that don't want her. What do they want?
They don't want her. Because
Hello?
I don't know, she's got no business sense, because obviously she don't understand how business works, because she's interrupted this show. How can you be going out with someone? I mean, I hate when people say, oh, this person's below me. No one can look down on you unless you put yourself below them. So for her to go out there with these men, she's going out there picking up men that she knows that are below her in her eyes, and saying, well, I've got this money, so let me help you do this, and let me help you do that. She said, well, I've got a man that's got this, so we can help him build. She just leads him with, this is what I've got, and this is what I want. But who's going to want her? She's 35, she's got a dog already, and she's got no manners. She's got no manners, so she might as well stay with her dog. And, look after all the other old people's dogs. So she's got quite a
From
big
experience,
business.
do women like that ever grow up?
No,
Never?
no.
They just become old children?
Yeah, they're old prima donnas.
I've heard someone say that women stop maturing the second they get attention from men, which is like age 13, and then don't start maturing again until after it stops.
I mean, she's never going to stop, is she? She's always going to be immature because she's always going to get attention because you could. Oh, come on, look at her. She doesn't even look like a businesswoman.
Yeah.
She doesn't carry herself like a businesswoman. I mean, the first thing when she said that she's a businesswoman, I thought, well, why are you calling on the wrong show? I mean, that's just common sense.
Well, and the other thing is like, I mean, I own a business too, but I don't care with guys. Like, I don't think I'm better than a guy just because if I make more money.
Well, she does because she says she dates guys below her. I mean, she's going for guys below her.
Do you think that's important? You have to date a guy that makes more than you?
No,
No,
No.
I don't think so
No.
either.
I've never dated a guy that earns more than me.
Like, I just don't. Because I think men have value just in, like, being men. And they have to be, like, competent to some degree, but, like...
She reminds me of one of these women that earns more money and then just shows it. I mean, I earn more money than my man, and my money's irrelevant. You know, if he wants to go out and buy stuff, he will go out and buy stuff. I'm not going to say, I've got more money than you. You know, because I know that they say that. I mean, look at her. She doesn't look business-like.
No.
She doesn't look
No,
business-like
I would
at all.
never wear that, you know, like...
No, it's got
professional.
too much cleavage, the makeup, the hair, and the dog in the background.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big sign for me. I thought she had more than one.
Well, and, like, I don't like fake lashes. I think they look really unprofessional. Like I just don't think girls look good with fake eyelashes.
I think the whole fakeness looks unprofessional.
Yeah.
The eyelashes, the hair, the makeup. I mean, I was saying to my boyfriend, I said to him, I actually watched someone put makeup on. And I said, I remember going to a tinted moisturiser. And you said, what are you putting on that for? You don't need it. And I said, that would have took me like 2 minutes. And I said, I've watched women put makeup on. It's like 5 layers.
Gosh, I think like time-wise, because I don't wear a lot of makeup. I just do mascara.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I took the time to get good at makeup, and then every day you have to spend an hour doing it, like that's 5 hours a week. I'm like, I could learn guitar in that time.
It is ridiculous. They take too long to get ready. And she's took a long time to get ready and still got it wrong.
I'm not understanding. You said they want arm candy, then you contradicted yourself. They want somebody to do more than just looks.
Yeah, arm candy, but something behind, brain with it, and more in depth.
Do you know any men who make 6 figures or more?
Do you think men care about how smart their girl is?
But I don't want to stupid as her. I'm sorry, I'm not saying. And then she's saying, yeah, I think they do. I mean, men want common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what they want, common sense. And now everybody's got, it seems like it's easier to get a degree or a PhD than to get common sense.
That's what I say this. I say this because some of the dumbest people I know are so educated.
Yeah, I was
But,
saying, you're the cleverest, stupid person I know.
And the more I do street arguments, there's like a type of person, and I know exactly, it's like the same archetype.
Yeah.
And it's always like Ivy League educated. They can make the simplest argument complicated.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Because they've got the language, they've learnt the words, they've got used to it. I mean, what's the point of having all that education when you never get to use your words? So that's what they do. Every opportunity, they get to use the words, which makes no sense to anybody else. It's just nonsense.
That's what I think the smartest people can tell you things, like complicated concepts in the simplest terms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But stupid people take the simplest context and just stretch it and make it complicated for no reason.
Do you know any men who make 6 figures or more?
My dad and my uncle.
Oh, marry your dad.
Excuse me. Do you know any men that you are related to that make 6 figures or more?
I'm related to? Yeah,
Men
not
that
on
you
a
are
personal-
not related to.
Not on a personal level.
So you don't know them. You don't know what they want, but you want them. Ma'am, I'm going to suggest that you really don't know what you want. And saying 6 figures is just something that you get taken from out there, but I'm not hearing this rooted to anything. What do you want ultimately? Do you want to be married, children, what?
Yes, I want to be married.
You want any children?
Yes.
How many?
I have a son now, so
How old is your son?
he's 13.
Where's the father?
he's not in his life.
I
Well,
asked that. I said, where's the father?
Well, he's not like in it like I would like him to be.
Involved.
All right, so
You know,
go ahead
pussy
and
or
take that,
what?
ma'am. Men who make the kind of money you're talking about have options, and typically they don't want to deal with women who have 13-year-old sons who are used to dating men. This doesn't sound appealing. The kind of man you're talking about. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I was thinking once I start booking session with you that
I can't change
Doesn't
it.
matter.
She's like, yeah, but I don't care.
Oh, so now once you say but, it cancels everything that you said before. So it's like yeah, but, which means no.
I don't understand how these girls get these big ass egos. I'm like, did you know brothers to bully you a little bit?
And the thing is, she wants, I don't know, you know they say that birds of both feathers flock together, or you know by your peers. Well, I always say to people, if you go to a nightclub and you meet a man in a nightclub and he turns out to be a raven on his wolf, what do you expect would be your name?
Yeah.
Now, if you want to meet a man, 6 figures, well, why are you hanging around with dogs? Literally. You know, why aren't you going out? Where? But she looks like someone who would stand out if she had a man and 6 figures, because she can't speak properly. She's got no manners. She's got no timekeeping. She obviously can't read because she didn't read what he says. So that means that she can't use a knife and fork properly. So how can she at a table with a 6-figure man? And she's not dressed appropriately for a 6-figure man. And at 35, with a teenage son, all the crap that's on her face is not going to make her look any more better.
And that's the thing, like all of my brothers make 6 figures, they're older than me, and they would never, like, the girls with the fake hair, the fake nails, the fake eyelashes, they don't give the time of day.
Yeah.
They don't.
So I don't know why she
You have to be able
expects
to,
that.
like, carry yourself.
She
Like,
just seems to think, well, I've got all the expensive makeup, I've got all the hair, and now I can get the 6-figure man. Why? You don't know anything about them, you don't know where they are, otherwise you'd be mixing with them. So it's obvious that, what are you going to do? If a 6-figure man dropped in front of her, she wouldn't know what to do.
no.
She wouldn't have a clue. She wouldn't be able to converse with him. She wouldn't be able to, go out and socialise with him because she's not used to it, because she's not doing that now. If she really wanted to meet a man with 6 figures, then that should be your social circle.
Why do you think the younger generation is so delusional?
Is this why?
Do you feel like your generation was this delusional, or people kind of knew where they stood?
I think we never had so many people helping us to be delusional.
Okay. Like
There's
the
too
internet?
many people helping, the internet and the makeup, and it's like, and the stars, they're looking at all these stars, the Kim Kardashians and all the rare people that are the one-offs, and they're thinking, well, I can do that. And now anybody thinks that you just get on the internet, you can be a star.
And that's what, like, a lot of times I see people pushing, like, luxury lifestyles on average people, like, freezing their eggs and, like, that sort of stuff, and, like, Botox and, like, all of the stuff that keeps celebrities looking good. It's a luxury. The average woman can't do
You
that.
get about 25-year-olds having Botox now, and I think, why?
Oh my gosh.
Why are you having Botox?
Yeah.
If you're having it now, what are you going to be like in another 10 years? You know?
It's like the
Yeah,
forehead where it's like,
it's the lips.
oh
I don't
my
know,
gosh,
it's
the
the
duck
forehead.
lip.
It's
Duck
the
lip.
lips that I don't like. And I thought to myself, for years, when I was growing up, it was always like, oh, those black people, they got big lips, big lips. And as a black person, I mean, I don't really like massive lips, but a lot of people are conscious about their lips. And then, like, a few years later, everybody wants big lips.
Yeah.
And they don't even, they remind me that if you lick their lips and stick them on the wall, they will just stick there.
Yeah.
Because they're just ridiculous. They can't talk properly, and the veneers that they're getting now, and the eyes, and it's ridiculous. So I think, sometimes I think to myself, a man would get a woman, he would take her home, and when he wakes up in the morning, he must think, who the hell are you? What did I bring home? I don't recognise you, and it's sad. But these women are delusional. They just really believe that they've got the whole package. But they've got the package that they want. They haven't got the package that the men want. Otherwise, she wouldn't be leaving with how much she earns. Because how much she earns is irrelevant. Having a business is irrelevant. Her age and the fact she's got a 13-year-old child, rather than leave with the business, you should be leaving with, I'm 35 and I've got a child.
The other thing that like went in and out of style is, do you remember it used to be really skinny girls that were like in the media, that was what everyone wanted to look like Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Bynes type of
Yeah.
body, and then all of a sudden Kim Kardashian, like BB, and they look like diapers. The diaper butts.
Well, for me, I'm one of the most flattest people in my family. And for years, everybody else, you could be really skinny, except for a lot of the black culture. They really like their women chunky, more robust. And I was well attracted by anyone who wasn't black, pardon me, but my own culture, they were like, look, what's wrong with you? You know, I was studying like an ironing board. No matter which way you swing her, she's flat. And then all of a sudden, I would say like, right now, obese is a new size 10.
Yes.
Obese is a new size 10. I've got a thing about, I mean, I'm naturally slim. I am actually about 4 pounds heavier than I was 36 years ago.
Oh wow, good for
I'm
you.
actually the same size clothes.
Yeah.
And I look at these women and they're not attractive. I just think any man that takes someone that's obese, now make sure you've got like health insurance or something, because that's a heart attack waiting to happen. You know, or marry her but insure her, because when she dies, which she will be soon, and just keep on feeding her, because she's obviously got no self-control and can't keep her mouth shut. That is my view. Because, for instance, this is how I think, because I've got a sister. I had a sister, my late sister, and she died. And everyone kept on telling me, oh, it's so sorry, your sister died. And they goes, how did she die? I said, she committed suicide. I know my family's going to hate me for this, but I've been through this before. She committed suicide. And they goes, really, how'd she do that? I said, she would shut her mouth. Because what? She died because she was overweight. All the illness she's got because she was fat. And as far as I'm concerned, if a doctor says to you, you know, if you eat this, you're going to get fat and you're going to die. Or it's bad for your health, and you decide to eat this, suicide. Death by food. And
really
that's what I
true.
said. She ate death by food. That's what I said.
Wow. I never thought about it that way. You know, it's funny, my dad, I asked my dad questions sometimes, like what I should look for in a guy, like what are the most important things. And one of them he told me is health, because otherwise they're not gonna live
There's no
long.
point. You need someone that's gonna eat healthy. You know, or if you can't eat healthy, shut your mouth and look at the unhealthy food.
Good question. So I'm curious of your stance. So my dad said, I asked him, like, again,
I don't have
asked him about,
WhatsApp
like,
at the
traditional
moment.
support guys, right? And one thing he told me, I asked him how he felt about age gaps. And my dad told me
But I
that
can
it's not
download
as good of an idea as the
So,
manosphere.
I started to
seems be.
download
'Cause
it.
on the one hand, I think you get commitment when there's more of an age gap with a guy, and you have more like value to the guy. But then my dad was like, no, because you'll outlive him, and you'll spend the last like 20, 30 years of your life longer than that.
Yeah. It's
But I'm
true.
curious, what do you think about age gap dating?
I've done it all. I've dated younger men. I've dated older
Is
men.
your boyfriend the same age as you?
No, he's younger.
Younger, okay.
Only a few years.
That's what my dad said. He said you should date a younger guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, Dad, I don't think you understand what the 22-year-olds are like nowadays.
They've got some quite, if you're choosy, because I think a lot of the young men now, they're wising up to women. They're wising up to the modern women.
Yeah.
So before, I'd say like, before this modern women thing started, the men were like boys and, they were having fun and playing their games, but now they're looking at them like, no.
No, I think they're tired.
Yeah,
They're tired.
And I know so many young men that have got trapped by women. Yeah, trapped is the word. That a woman sees them and thinks, you know what, he just wants to have sex with her, and she's just like, no, he's a good one, he's got no kids, so the first time. Once I have the first kid with you, you're mine for life. You're stuck with me for life. No matter who you've got after me, you're going to be stuck with me for life. And that's what I always tell the men.
I tell my brothers this too. I'm like, be careful. These girls are.
Yeah, they would. I'd always say, get the condom, buy your own condoms, and hold them up to the light, because I've heard about women putting needles in them, in holes and stuff like that. Oh yeah, they do that.
To me, that's insane. Like, why would you want to bring a kid into with a dad that doesn't want the kid?
To trap the man because it's most going to be his first. And if it's a man's first child, it means something to him. And you'll find there's a lot of women out there. That
Damn.
So do you feel like, do those guys actually end up staying with the woman or no? No. Do they love her? No. They hate her?
I'm just speaking from, I can only speak from experience.
Yeah,
and I've got 3 grandchildren,
Yeah.
right? And my son didn't know about any of them. Same woman. Any of them. Don't get me wrong, the girl loves my son to death, and they were really good together. But they always had an agreement, no children. So when a woman tells you she's on the pill, you're in a good relationship. And she was always chunky. And then it seems like every time I went on holiday and I came back, there was another baby. And I told her off and I said, you've robbed me of, like, you know, baby showers, you know, buying the clothes and everything. And I'd come back and there was a baby. I'd come back and there was another baby. And I'd come back and there was another baby. And I said to myself, where's all the condoms I bought you? You know, I'll go out and I'll buy them for you. You know, but and now he's just like, no. And that ruined a good relationship.
Wow.
That ruined, I mean, they were like, they were like the best couple that I know. They had the same business mind, they had the same get up and go, and they could make money out of anything. And just for the fact that she was a girl, but now not a girl forever. And she thought by having children she'd turn herself into a girl forever. But she isn't, she's just a girl for now with 4 children from the same girl. But she's a great mother and I love her dearly.
Do you think that she, like, do you feel like he would have just, like, broken up with her and, like, had kids with someone else if that didn't happen?
Most definitely.
And you think she knew that?
Oh, yeah.
How long were they together?
Oh, they've been together.
Are they still together?
They weren't together when they had the children. Every time she got pregnant, I didn't get it because you weren't together. You weren't together. And a lot of men, it's not the only one, a lot of men out there are getting trapped by women. And the men, you know, the men are like, oh, it's my child. You know, I've got to be there for my child. And the women are like, you've got to be there for me too. And then if they're not there for the woman, the women have issues with it because I've got my child.
And then that's when you see them use. Now, I'm not saying she did, but like in some cases that they'll get like use the kids as leverage over the guy.
I've seen a lot of people do that. I've seen a lot of women do it, and they do it, and they don't realise the consequences because the men just end up hating them.
Well, and the kids grow up at some point and figure out the truth. Kids aren't stupid. What I was saying though is I feel like at some point the kids figure it out. They're not stupid. Like all my friends that have like crazy moms, at some point they got old and realized she's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah. Wait, what? Wait, I didn't realize.
You know, when you grow up, it's like, yeah, my mom's crazy. Yeah, I think I vouch that I'm one of them. Anyone that knows you will say, yeah, it's pretty much anyone.
No.
I know, but I can approve myself, and I feel like I have a lot to offer to those type of men.
Okay, but see, you should have stopped right there. I just told you I cannot change men. And you said, once I book a session with you, I'm not a miracle worker. I'm telling you what they want. And you're still saying, yeah, but I want them. They don't want you.
No way.
But I have been working on myself this year, and looking your.
Okay, man, but okay. 35, 13-year-old son with a sketchy father. Why would a man who's in the top 10% of earners, who women across the country want that?
Because I have a lot to offer. I feel like.
Would you want your son to, if you had a son making that kind of money, would you want him to bring home a woman who had a 13-year-old son from a sketchy father? Or would you prefer him to get a woman who had no children, who's younger and easier to get on his program?
Depending on his age.
See what I mean? See what I mean? This goes so deep for black women. They will even. Should have been an easy question. No, I would not want my son to bring. I want the best for my son. That should have been the appropriate answer. That's why I sat up. That is bullshit.
ask a question. Since you were a single mom, why are you not offended by this stuff? Like, why do you feel like you can actually take it in?
I think I'm a rarity. I think I was a single. Well, number one, I got pregnant when I was 17. I was on the pill, so it wasn't expected. It wasn't planned. It wasn't expected. And I thought, my initial thought was, oh shit, I've messed up this man's life. I always wanted 10 children. Personally, I wanted to have 10 children, and I thought, oh my gosh, no. We went together and got the pill and everything, and it wasn't a good relationship, but we went together and got the pill.
Wouldn't it be cool to have one keyboard that keeps up with you? Apex Pro Mini, 60%.
And the first thing that came to mind was, he's not going to have this purpose. Everybody knows that I've always wanted 10 children. And so I actually went and I said, alright, because I thought, I want to let you know, you want it, you don't want it. I'm happy with that. If you don't want it, I'll do my own thing. And it was just like, you know, people cross the road and get run over by a bus. There's worse accidents. And my doctor actually offered me an abortion. I don't believe in abortion because I think that's the worst accidents happen. I remember I done everything. I had lots of male friends, always had male friends, lots of mentors for my son because his dad was absent whenever he felt like it. And I surrounded him by men. Even my man now, when my son was, I think, 4 years old, I was actually going to get him to mentor my son because I thought he was such a good example of what a real man should be. But his dad had issues with it. He wouldn't do it, but he had issues with it. But what I have issues with is so many big single women that go out there and they have these kids and they either tie down the man,
No, bro.
you must do this or you must do that. Or they just think they've got the kid and it's like a handbag, but they've still got it.
Am I past you on the outside?
You've got a child, you ain't got it. I didn't think I had it when I had my son. I just completely took myself off the market. I think the first 5 years of his life, because I think the first 5 years are important, and that's who I concentrated on. But they always, I didn't concentrate on me.
Bro,
I
I'm a
concentrated
pass you
on
on
my
the
son.
outside.
And that's what she said.
Yeah.
All I
It's
know
okay.
that she was talking was, but I want this, and he said, but you can't. But I want this, and I'm working on myself, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. And I just think to myself, I just thought to myself, that's it. That's what turned me around. I remember Kevin Samuels said something about having a single child, and he said something about other men seeing that child and the father or whatever. And I remember there was a guy, and he wasn't attractive to anybody else because he was a fat guy, but he was so nice and so kind, and he was absolutely fantastic. And we flirted for years. He was actually a really nice guy, and he would always chat me up. And I remember it was in a supervisor, and I remember I came out there with my son, and he goes, "Oh hi darling, how you going?" And he looked at my son. He said, "No." I said, "What?" He said, "Don't tell me." He says, "Is that so and so's son?"
Again?
And I thought he was a good girl. I spoke to him again after that. I was gutted. I was so upset. And I thought to myself, oh my God, everybody's going to look at this child and think, that's who she's been with. So I just had to do it on my own as best as I could. I didn't want no one to see that before I had a child with. You know, because they'd be thinking, what kind of person is she? But gradually everybody realised that I wasn't that kind of person. But when you see the dad, you just think to yourself, how could she have a child with him? And then I had to think to myself, I can't have a child with anybody else because they're going to think to themselves, I've got to deal with that crazy man. A lot of women don't think that. They just think they've got the child and they do not put the child first. I mean, they sit down there and they wait for... I went to college with my son. He went to... When he was under a year old, I went to college, I took him into the creche and I come at my classes, give him lunch, put him back in, and I've done it all. But the most important thing is, I made sure that he had lots of men around him. Lots of good men around him who were good examples. But the women don't do that. They've got the child and they're not looking at the men for their child, they're looking at the men for themselves. And what I hate about England pays you to have children. That's the worst thing about it. They pay you to have children. I was so glad when they stopped the child benefit after 2. Because I just think, 1, it's a mistake, 2, you got careless, 3, pay for it yourself. Why should I be paying for you to have a child? I was working hard as a single parent and I had an ex-friend now and she had a baby and she was planning to have an next one. Oh, Jennifer, I'm going to have another. She wasn't living with a man, she had a guy. Planning her second child. And I'm supposed to be all happy about it. And our friendship stopped when I said, isn't it a bit strange that I can afford for you to have a child, but I can't afford for me to have one? because she never worked,
Mhm.
and I always worked. And everybody at the time, they was like, oh, it's crazy because, and it is crazy because you get more money when you've got a child and don't work than if you
And if you work,
Work.
yeah.
And then even my child's dad was saying to me, my son's dad was saying, you're stupid to work. What are you working for? Because you can get money, you know, the government gives you this, but I wasn't raised like that.
Mhm.
I was raised, you work.
Mhm.
If you want something, you work for it.
Mhm.
But the women out there now, it's just I think that they should stop paying people to have children. And you have the children, you work for them. Because if women had to work for the children, they'd be trapping them. And I say trapping. And a lot of people don't be upset with me because at the end of the day, a man can't get pregnant.
Mhm.
So as far as I'm concerned, it's down to the